How's it going, YouTube? Captain OJ here with Team KYP. Today I'm bringing you the deck profile for my Hand Trap Invoked deck. Now, I was really inspired by the, what the hell is his name now? I think his name was Ediception. He got a top 32 at like YCS Las Vegas or something like that. And anyways, he ended up getting profiled by like Simo and Nim. Anyways, there's a bunch of the other YouTubers. Anyways, I had a very like similar idea that I wanted to go with along that same idea, but at the time I didn't have the cards. Now I have the cards. Now I have the Ash Blossom. I have, you know, all whatever else I need for this deck now. And anyways, I did a lot more research afterwards because what ended up happening was set rotation got banned. And yeah, I kind of really wish we had that card because that would have made this deck a hell of a lot more consistent. But anyways, or it's not banned, but it's limited. Anyways,
it's limited to one.
Anyways. So I did a lot more research. I found some really nice like tech cards to throw into the deck, but at the same time I didn't find a very consistent build that I was wholeheartedly that I really liked. So after having a conversation with one of our other teammates, Lord Hemlock, thank you very much. Hey. Here for the first time in like a month and a half. Hey. Anyways,
it's been a month and a half. It's been a longer than that.
Anyways, he ended up helping me develop another engine, and I ended up throwing in the Dragon Ravine, Destrudo, and Supreme King Servant engine. And anyways, I've been finding it gave the turn 2 going turn 2 more explosive power and forcing a simplified game state, and which brings me to the next point. I find this deck works very well in a simplified game state because you're able to blow up the board and you can make sure you have a Macabre on board, make sure you keep negating your opponent's stuff so you keep them down and they can't get back up. And then you just keep poking for damage until you get all your Alistairs and just go ham on it. But I also added in a few other techs that allow me to put a bit more pressure on board, like, well, when we get to the profile in a second, you'll see that. But speaking of which, let's do that now. We're gonna start with the main, then the extra, then the side. So first, like every good Invoked deck, you need to play the more or less the boss monster, Alistair the Invoker. Alistair searches for your. He's a one-card engine for the most part. He searches your invocation, which fusion summons from your field, hand, graveyard, or your opponent's graveyard, which really screws with your opponent's graveyard synergy. Now for the hand traps, 3 Ash Blossoms.
Garbage.
It's awesome. I play 3 Effect Veilers. I've been really liking Effect Veilers. Huh? Ash Blossom.
Okay.
Anyways. 3 Ghost Ogres. I was maining Drolan Locks as well as the Gammas, but Gamma I find I wasn't using often enough. I find people started getting smart against any kind of Invoke deck and ashing whatever before you get to the, or when you get to the Alistair, and then you can't use Gamma to use the negate anything, so it was just pointless to keep it in the deck afterwards. Now for a few of my spicy techs. I run 2 BLS Envoy at the beginning. The reason why I put BLS in here is because I needed sometimes to recycle my Alistairs.
Was I saying that?
Huh?
Was I saying that last time?
No. Anyways, getting back to the point, a lot of the times you discard Alistair to... give your... either with your Macabre to negate a monster effect or to give it 1,000 attack to get over or something. And anyways, you have a lot more light monster attributes in this deck, but it's not hard to get a Dark back into the grave, mostly the Alistair. Or, so one of my other ideas, Destrudo and Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. Now, I like both of them. Number one, this helps to go for the 1 level 7 Synchro that you'll see in a bit. But this also goes for the rank 4 plays, as well as just putting a little bit more pressure on board when you have nothing else. This is a going second deck, so a lot of the times what this will do is if you're forced to go first, you can make a Baguska and just like sit on it for a little bit so you can gain your resources until you can make your more explosive plays. And he gets sent back to the graveyard anyway, so you can special summon him to the field again anyways later on. Another hand trap, Maxi, the god card.
The god card.
Yeah.
The official like low tier god card.
Yeah, low tier god card. And then the next, and finally the one Gofu. I was thinking of running the Grender Golem engine in here, but it just doesn't work very well because your normal summon is incredibly important in this deck. But with this, I found ended up seeing someone use a really like good combo to get out like a barrel load dragon with this one card and an Alistair. Jeez. So yeah, and then Yeah, it's a really good card.
Yeah, it just came on last week.
Anyways, now for the spells. I don't run any traps, just to give you a heads up. So first, Magical Meltdown. Magical Meltdown searches for your Alistair. Alistair into your Invocation. So that's really, really good. To get your Dark Worm as well as the Destrudo out of your deck and into the graveyard so you can utilize them, Dragon Ravine. It kind of sucks that you have to discard from your hand, but regardless, like if the one combo I really like playing with this is like you activate Dragon Ravine and you just discard either Destrudo or the Dark Worm, and then you get the other one in the grave, and then it's more or less the two cards to get into the 1 level 7 synchro. One problem I had with this deck at first was I found I really had a hard time getting to my Alistair, and it wasn't consistent, or it was consistent as it was, but I had to try to find a way. How can I add more consistency to the deck? How can I deck thin as well as get to my Alistair faster? So I do play the 1 set rotation. And like I said, with this it helps not only with deck thinning, but it also just helps you get to either your Alistair or to the Dragon Ravine to get the to get the combo going. Now to get to any of my field spells, the 3 terraformings, because it's mandatory.
Not even good.
You suck.
Gotta play Metaverse.
Yeah, the hell with that. I played 2 invocations. I just got my 1 ultimate. Oh, it looks so sexy. Now for a bit of draw power, I played 2 Spellbook of Secrets as well as 2 Knowledge.
Oh, Joe.
It's what?
Why don't you just play Foolish Barrel other than this one?
Because it's a field spell.
Yeah,
I
but
use set
you...
rotation, so it's a 4th way of also getting to my
Oh,
invocation.
that's for the set rotation.
Yeah. Anyways, so there's that for those 4 cards, more or less for draw power. Everything else that you've seen was more or less to search, and with the draw power. So the deck is just with all these spells that I've already shown is relatively consistent in that way. The 1 emergency teleport because we do play Ghost Ogre, and it does help go into the 1 level 7 synchro. Just general board wipes, Dark Hole and Regeki. Unfortunately, they're both at 1 now. Another form of board wipe is Book of Moon. What I really like is if you can combo this off. No, Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse flips all your opponent's monsters and your monsters face down defense, but your opponent will draw for every one of their monsters flip back face up. If you combo this off with Purgatrio, you practically have game. Because what Purgatrio does is it does piercing damage and it gains 200 attack for each card your opponent controls. So, like I said, if you can combo this off with that, you're really, really good. What I also like about this is that it doubles as a battle trap. Sure, it sucks if your opponent's gonna draw, but at the same time, you're gonna survive another turn to possibly do more damage. And for the final 2 spells, 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I was actually,
Not even secret.
Yeah, I know, I gotta upgrade them. What I was contemplating on doing is actually switching out the 2 Book of Eclipse or 1 Book of Eclipse for 1 Cosmic Cyclone, but that's why the 3rd Cosmic Cyclone is actually in the side deck.
So wait, why are people still running that card? I thought the only reason people were running it was against True
Dracos.
Yeah.
They're still a thing.
True Dracos as well as Pendulums.
Yeah. They're still things though.
Yeah. So anyways,
that's all I've been facing going to locals.
Oh yeah.
And
going to the extra. The extra, we're going to start with the fusions. That's the center, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 Macabas, because you're running a lot of light monsters. I would run a 3rd, but it's only coming every now and again where I would need a 3rd. And to leave a little bit more extra space in the extra deck. 2 Purgatrios, because Purgatrios are 1 card practically OTK. Like, I actually went up as a True King Dinosaur deck, and I OTK'd him with this 1 card. Next was 1 Magellanica, because it's Earth. The water one isn't that bad, and I don't run the dark.
Caliga.
Yeah, Caliga. Caliga is a good floodgate card, but it's only really good in like certain circumstances. And I run the 1 Raijin. Not so much for like game 1, but maybe use it in my opponent's like using my opponent's graveyard resources. But it's more for like game 2 when possibly I'll side in the Drolin Locks, which you'll see in a bit.
I've seen you use. I've only seen you use that card if it's like you're in a tough spot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really use the Raijin too often.
You don't do instant fusion?
No.
You could.
Yeah, I could use instant fusion, but it's not optimal. And then you don't want it to clog.
Omega anymore, right?
Yeah, and you don't want it to clog the extra deck, because even if you flip him face down in defense, he won't get destroyed. But now it's clogging your extra deck. Now for the rank 4s, because it is possible to do it with the Supreme King Servant Dragon when you special summon him from the graveyard. Diamond Direwolf. This is more for spot removal as well. Yeah, more for spot removal and getting your materials back to the graveyard so you can banish Infusion with them.
No good that.
One Buguska. If you're forced to go first, it's a good turn 1 play. The Utopia engine. This is more just for just try to go for game and damage. The 1 level 7 synchro is Black Rose Dragon. It's a classic, but the reason why I like it is because it forces almost a simplified game state, which is, like I explained earlier, what this deck excels at. Because normally you can get out a Black Rose Dragon, and if your opponent still has monsters miraculously, you can use the Fire attribute to go into Purgatrio and keep poking for damage, regardless if the monster's in attack or in defense. Or if you have a light in grave because of the hand traps, you're able to go into Makaba and then keep your opponent on the defensive and make sure every time they activate something, you can banish it or negate and banish it. Now for the 1 Gofu play, I play these links. I play Link Spider, Proxy Dragon, and Barrel Load Dragon. The combo is use Gofu, you get both the tokens. 1 token turns into Link Spider, the other token and the Gofu turn into Proxy. So now you do open up 2 extra deck zones, but the real combo comes when you normal summon Alistair. Alistair, you'll search for your invocation, then you use the Link Spider, the Proxy Dragon, and the Alistair to go into Barrel Load Dragon. And if your opponent's got monsters on board, you can, well, first you'll fusion into the Makaba, and then Barrel Load will attack, and then steal your opponent's monster, and you can keep attacking for more damage. Yeah, and then not only that, so not only do you get rid of your opponent's monster, but you also you have a 3k beat stick on board, as well as a monster that's at 25 or whatever, how many Alistairs you discard for increase his attack. But it does become a bit more of it puts more pressure on board, and it's really, really helpful, I find. Now for the side, I've been fighting a lot of Trickstars lately. So I find this extra deck's a little bit more
oriented.
It's more targeted towards them. So I play 2 DDD Rebel King Leonidas. Whenever you get burned, you special summon it to the field. And then any kind of burn that you took gets reversed and you gain the life points back. And now you no longer take effect damage. And that's why I really like him. And I really, really like playing DDDs. So I said, why not? Another spicy tech that I actually got from Simo's channel is Chaos Hunter. Chaos Hunter, whenever the Trickstars, actually it even works against ABCs because they can't special summon out ABC Buster Dragon. Whenever your opponent special summons, you can special summon this to the field by discarding a card, and now your opponent cannot banish any cards. So yeah, so against ABCs or something like Trickstars, they can't activate Reincarnation to banish their hand or banish your hand. And they can't banish it from the graveyard to special summon one of their Trickstars from the grave. I absolutely love this card now against them. Then the triple evenly matched. Evenly matched is again, this won me games. This won me games against like True Dracos and like all these other really scummy
stuff on board.
Yeah. And then it doesn't go through the graveyard afterwards. So I really, really like that card. Droll Unlock for just a lot of other decks that search and whatever else. Like against the mirror match, this would hurt. Because then once your opponent searches for one thing, as long as it's not the invocation, you pretty much have them locked out for that turn. And then finally, I have a small kaiju engine. I have there are 3 different attributes that go to the fire, wind, or the earth one, and then with an additional board wipe. So that's my deck. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Give me some advice if you have any give me some advice. Ask any questions that you need.
Give me some advice if you have any questions.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, take care. Captain OJ and Team KYP out.